stories you care about. News Talk 1330 WLBB, Carrollton.
Good Thursday morning, everybody. Welcome to the WLBB Community Voice program. Our show brought to you by Tanner Health System here on News Talk 1330, FM 106.3. And as we have done with all of our Carroll County Chairman candidates this week, we're broadcasting live on the News Talk 1330 WLBB Facebook page. You can see our handsome young guest here this morning, John Wilson. He is a former commissioner, Carroll County Commissioner, District 4. Last time he was in office was 2013, I believe.
14.
And it was 14.
Yeah.
With the race, anyway, the race that year
Yes, right.
turned out.
I left in the 13. That's
13.
right.
Came up 16 votes shy at that race, and maybe uniquely, the candidate that beat him in that race is also running for Carroll County Commission Chairman, and she'll be our guest tomorrow morning. So hope you'll tune in for that program as well tomorrow morning at 8:30. As I said, John Wilson, our guest. We're going to discuss his current campaign to become the county's next chairman to complete the unexpired term of Marty Smith, who did accept a job with the state earlier in the year. But first, let me bring this up. I'm sure a lot of people are aware your family members in a pretty scary car accident last week, maybe 10 days ago. Sunday.
Last Sunday, yes.
How are they at this point?
We're all good. My daughter's had to have a couple of minor surgeries on her mouth, but for the most part, they're living and breathing. That's the main thing. So the good Lord took care of them. That's for sure. So
absolutely, that is good. That is good.
Glad they're home. Glad they're safe.
Let's talk about your campaign then.
Let's talk.
All right. Well, first of all, who is John Wilson? You know, what's his background? What's he all about? What is the motivation to be chairman of Carroll County?
Well, I was a district commissioner from 2007 to 13, as you know. I been working with my brothers for the last 23 years at Wilson Sign. I feel like if you can work with three of your brothers, you can about work with anybody. Most people, that's one thing they don't understand is how we all work together and get along, but we do. We raised beef cattle for roughly 20 years, so I think I got a good mix of business and the farming side of the county, which farming is huge in Carroll County. And I was a commissioner during the roughest times of a lot of our lifetimes, during the recession of 07 through, like I said. We done that with, when we took office, we was $5.5 million in debt. When we left office, we had a surplus, and we did it without raising taxes. We had to make tough decisions, and to get to that point, there were a lot of tough decisions. So I just feel like that I was getting led to run. I mean, every time I would talk myself out of it, the next day there would be 2 or 3 people that would call and say, you need to run, we're going to support you. So that's how we ended up here. So we're going to give it all we got this time, and we're going door to door, and we're going to continue to go door to door. So
we've had 2 guests previously on our program, and I'm going to probably target similar questions that we did ask, just to be fair, but do encourage listeners to give us a call this morning, 678-601-8255. 678-601-TALK, or you can post questions and comments to the News Talk 1330 WLBB Facebook page, and I'm sure Steve or Joel will give me heads up to take a peek when some are posted up there. You did talk about you served at a time, it was a tough financial time where taxes did not have to be raised in Carroll County.
And there was no the revenue was down, you know. Mm-hmm. I mean, foreclosures were through the roof. I mean, we had a tough job through them years, and like I said, I'm proud that we made it through it without raising taxes and ended up with a surplus. So
the most recent chairman administration opted to put a transportation special purpose local option sales tax out there for voters to vote yay or nay against, and they shot it down. It seems like this tax can come back pretty easily. It's like you do have the option, like you don't have to wait too much time at all to bring it back. Would you consider bringing that back before voters?
I would consider it, yes, because I think it would help the people. I knew it was going to fail from the get-go, because the people of Carroll County is not going to allow their government to have a blank check. And that's basically, in my opinion, what they were asking for. They just said, we're going to pave roads. What roads? What subdivisions? Currently, we pave maybe one subdivision a year. Maybe. Because just the money's not there to do it. If you'd have went to these subdivisions and you would have told these people, hey, your roads we're going to grind your subdivision down and we're going to repave it. Then you get them to buy into it. They got a little skin in the game. Just saying we're going to pave roads, I I knew they wasn't going to buy it, and I told the commissioners that was on the board at that time, I said, this thing is going to fail. You did not list any projects, and you're basically the people that in my circle that I talked to that was contacting me, because I still was involved in the politics after I left. They looked at it as they wanted the county to write them a blank check, and I mean the county wanted them to write them a blank check, and they wasn't buying it, and the vote showed that they wasn't buying it.
Have you seen the 2019-2020 budget that's been proposed?
I've went to the hearings, but the acoustics are so terrible in that auditorium that I picked up on bits and pieces of it. But I'm in the process of going through it. But what little I did see it, I think there's a little bit of wiggle room to get rid of some things. I mean, there was a lot of adding 25,000, adding 10,000, adding 5,000, adding an employee, adding, to that. I think there was the good thing about it is the budget is proposed. It was not adopted. So whoever the chairman is will be able to go in there and take a comb and go through the budget.
Well, you gave me some numbers. Or what are some specifics? What kind of things could wiggle out of that budget?
Well, personnel. I know that there may have been more, but it seems like I did hear that they were adding 2 different people. If we're going to add people, I mean, without looking at it and talking to the department head or whoever it was that asked for the extra personnel, I think we need to really look hard and see if that person's more important than adding a fireman down at the station on Jones Mill Road or on Tice Road.
2 firehouses, right, that need to be
so
made.
Priority 1 is public safety. I mean, that's bottom line. The people out on Jones Mill Road, it's about a 15-minute response time currently to something that happens. If a fire or wreck or heart attack or whatnot happens, you're looking at 12 to 15-minute response times, and that is unacceptable, So to me, if we're going to add positions, we need to add firemen and put firemen in them stations.
John Wilson, one of 2 candidates running for Carroll County Commission Chairman, and he's our guest on this Thursday WLBB Community Voice program, News Talk 1330 FM 106.3, also streaming live on the News Talk 1330 WLBB Facebook page. We'll take our first break. We'll take a peek and see if we got some questions on Facebook, and I believe we may have a caller when we come back from this first break. Community Voice brought to you by Tanner Health System, News Talk 1330 FM 106.3, brought to you by Tanner Health System.
At Tanner, we're advancing health throughout West Georgia and East Alabama because we know that exceptional care isn't based on how many patients we serve, but how well we serve them. That's why we're focused on quality, delivering the best possible care for our patients. It's why we're expanding our clinical services and building new facilities to serve our growing community. And it's why we're looking beyond our hospitals and medical practices to develop sustainable wellness and preventive health programs in our region. What makes a hospital great has changed. It's not how many beds we have. It's how well we care for the neighbors who need them. Delivering the right care to every patient, every time, is how Tanner is advancing health with medicine beyond measure. Learn more at tanner.org. or find a physician on our medical staff by calling 770-214-CARE.
Welcome back to the WLBB Community Voice program. Our show brought to you by Tanner Health System, News Talk 1330, FM 106.3. And this morning, check us out on the News Talk 1330 WLBB Facebook page. It is 8:38. John Wilson, our guest, one of 5 candidates running for Carroll County Commission Chairman. I believe we have a phone call. We're going to try and give this a go. Punch us up there, Steve Gradick. Good morning. You're on Community Voice.
Good morning. This is Harry McCord. I wanted to ask Mr. Wilson what is his position on the growth in the county.
Yes, sir.
And maybe I can reinterpret this if it doesn't make sense. I mean, a lot of conversation about, hey, we're preparing for growth. I mean, do you want to see Carroll County?
I wanted to know how he feels about the growth and
about the current growth or
how
future
he thinks
growth?
It should be handled.
Okay.
We have a comprehensive plan and the maps drawn for the land use maps. In order to grow, you need. I mean, to go forward, we got to have growth. I mean, But I'm not for sprawling subdivisions throughout the county. I think the land use map is a good map. We paid a lot of money for it. I think we need to use it. It needs to be closer to the cities. I would like to see around the 61 area corridors that way. I'm not into going to the farmlands and throwing subdivisions up where you don't have fire protection, you don't have police protection, that kind of thing. So in order, you got to have good growth, but like I said, it needs to be good growth. It doesn't need to be just to throw up subdivisions, that kind of thing.
Sir, is that a good answer to your question?
Don't you think that good growth would be if we restricted lots to 5 acres?
Currently, at the Board of Commission, in the county, the minimum lot size on agriculture is 4 acres. So,
but if we had responsible growth and only say 4 acres, allowed the subdivisions to have 4 acres, don't you think that would be more responsible than putting them on 1 acre or half an acre? So the taxpayers would have to pay more and more and more for schools, and we end up like DeKalb or Fulton or Gwinnett or Paulding or something like that.
A lot of people, sir, do not want to have a 4 acre lot, a 5 acre lot. They want a small yard to maintain. I would be willing to. I don't like half acre lots. No, I can tell you I don't like. I would like to see a minimum of a 1 acre lot. That's something that I'd like to see, but with green space added into each subdivision. So, but to say that I would go for just a minimum 5 acre lot, no, I couldn't support that, because there are people out there, like I said, that are older that don't want to cut a 5 acre lawn to keep up is a pretty good task for people, or so they might just want the 1 acre lot. So that's my position on that.
Okay. Thank you for that.
Thank you
Yes,
for your
sir.
call, sir.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Goodbye.
All right, John Wilson, our guest on this morning's Community Voice program, one of 5 candidates running for the Carroll County Commission chairman position. Somebody asked this question, I want to say about a year ago on another program, and I wrote it down, and I think this is kind of connected with what we've begun discussing here in the last 5 minutes. Is there a point with all the projected growth where staff you would recommend against approving certain developments, even if they met future land map usage, because the infrastructure simply could not contain additional strength?
If you don't have the infrastructure there, it doesn't matter. You need to work with the school systems, the cities, because they're the ones that's going to be the school systems more especially, because if you add a subdivision with 100 lots in it, you potentially looking at 100 kids that be added to a certain grade. So you got to make. Yes, but to overbuild, no, I'm not into the overbuilding. I think we got a good plan in place with the land use maps, and that's what we need to go by. So,
Derek Newton, a frequent commenter on our program, she's asking, do you have a plan to improve diversity within hiring for county
absolutely.
employees?
Well, I think everybody ought to have equal opportunity in Carroll County. So, yes, I would look to diversity of any type.
What kind of plan can be put in place to improve that?
That would be something I guess we would have to sit down and talk with the county attorney and draw up.
Leslie McPherson, she's a city council person in Villa Rica. She's asking, can you explain the Carroll County floating homestead exemption passed by voters in early 2000s and how it impacts the county property revenue?
That I'll be honest with you, is something I'm not familiar with on that. I believe that's more of a tax commissioner question than it is mine. I think Vicky handles all of that, that kind of thing. So.
Your wife texted me. She loves you, but she wants you to stop clicking that pen. John Wilson, our guest on this morning's Community Voice program. It's 8:45. Talked a little bit about tax special purpose local option sales tax, the transportation special purpose local option sales tax. You said you would consider looking into that. Our most recent SPLOST, the one that is still generating money right now, one of the things that was put in there was for a new admin building.
Before I left, Colin, the board, that was priority number 1 for me. It's something that the county needs. We're spread out all over the county, all over the city of Carrollton. You got the chairman's office that's at the old courthouse. The tag office is over at College Street. The fire department's where it's at. I mean, we're spread out all over the place. I think we all need to be under one roof. My daddy was 75 years old when he passed away, and there is no way my dad could walk from that parking deck to our commission chambers where they were currently at. It wouldn't be possible. There's absolutely no handicap parking close to it. I mean, it's a good hike. You make the hike. And when I took office in 07, we would have anywhere roughly from 10 to 25 people in attendance of our meetings almost every night. You go up there now, it's the only people that's there, it's the people that's got to be there. So I'm 100% for it. I've already had some thoughts on some properties right off the bypass. I think it needs to be easily accessible for the people in Bowden, the people in Villa Rica, the people in Temple, Whitesburg. Somewhere on the bypass, in my opinion, is where it needs to go. We were actually, when Marty was in there, we were pretty close to purchasing a building and a piece of property but it fell through. So, but that is absolutely the voters voted for it, and we need to give it to them.
And you talked about, I guess I thought about this too. You talked about the acoustics.
It's terrible. You can't hear nothing. I mean, it's a shame. I mean, if you're not sitting right on top of them, you're not hearing it. I mean.
John Wilson, our guest on this morning's Community Voice program, one of 5 candidates for Carroll County Commission Chairman. Election Day is the 18th of June, I believe.
That's right.
We're going to have 3 weeks of early voting.
That's right.
Coming up.
May the 28th.
You have a meet and greet this evening.
We do. We're going to be at the corner of Bethesda Church Road and Laurel Road at Eric Thompson's barn, and everybody come out and 6:30 to 8:30, I think. So everybody come out and ask me all the questions they want to ask.
The last 6 years that you have been out of office, is there anything particularly frustrating that was handled in a way? Maybe I'll say, for example, and maybe this didn't bother you. Like last month, there was a big deal made about the purchase of some mowers.
Yes.
And the frustration was from local business people that, hey, we didn't even get a chance to bid on this. And given they admitted that we may not have been able to match that price that they got from a state bid. But they would have at least liked the opportunity to do that. Now, are you familiar with that in the
I was
in
there.
the chart? Are you familiar with that in the charter too? How that's phrased? Why is that not?
They through the charter. They had the right to do the government contracts. I mean, we've done that before with vehicles more especially. But yes, everything needs to be bid out. It keeps everybody honest, in my opinion. I mean, when I was on the board, we bid out from toilet paper to tractors. I mean, and I think that's the way it ought to be. So, yes, competitive bidding is only good.
But is it more important if we get those bids out locally?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I understand why they may have went with who they went with, because the maintenance and that kind of thing. But it doesn't hurt to bid it out. It still keeps everybody honest.
The state of Georgia recently gave $50 million for West Georgia Technical College to take over that property on right off the bypass. Were you part of the Carroll County Commission when that was purchased?
I was.
Remind us of the story. That was 8-9 years ago. Remind us of the story about that purchase.
It come to that property came available to us, and the county and the city had reached an agreement that it would be county property, but it's in the city limits of Carrollton. I take that back. It's county property, but the city would supply water, sewer,
right across the street,
everything to it. The monies that was collected on taxes would have went to the county school besides the city school tax, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. And that was where we were going to try to do a tech park. I think that if numbers are right in my head, I think the county taxpayers got roughly around close to $8 to $10 million in that tech park, and we give it to West Central Tech. I don't know that I could have done that. I'll just be quite honest with you. One of the main problems with not getting people in there was the zoning that we had in place on it. It didn't fit a lot of commercial.
Well, it was focused for technology.
Yeah, and it didn't pan out. I mean, it did not pan out. So, and I don't know who's to blame there, but we were informed that it would make a go, and it did not. So, but far as just giving it to somebody, I don't know that I could have done that.
Carroll County Commission Chairman candidate John Wilson, our guest on this morning's Community Voice program, former District 4 Commissioner in Carroll County. I got about 10 minutes left in the program. We'll take our second break. Come back. Questions and comments again. Call us up 678-601-8255, 678-601-TALK. And I'll take another peek at the News Talk 1330 WLBB Facebook page for your questions and comments. We will be back in 1 minute.
At Tanner, we're advancing health throughout West Georgia and East Alabama because we know that exceptional care isn't based on how many patients we serve, but how well we serve them. That's why we're focused on quality, delivering the best possible care for our patients. It's why we're expanding our clinical services and building new facilities to serve our growing community. And it's why we're looking beyond our hospitals and medical practices to develop sustainable wellness and preventive health programs in our region. What makes a hospital great has changed. It's not how many beds we have. It's how well we care for the neighbors who need them. Delivering the right care to every patient, every time, is how Tanner is advancing health with medicine beyond measure. Learn more at tanner.org or find a physician on our medical staff by calling 770-214-CARE.
Welcome back to the WLBB Community Voice program, our show brought to you by Tanner Health System, News Talk 1330, FM 106.3, streaming live online at newstalk1330.com, and the News Talk 1330 WLBB Facebook page. A gentleman named Scott, he might have missed us talking about this previous in the show, but he says we have 2 fire stations that don't even have firefighters working those stations 24/7. Going to give you a chance to comment on that again. How do we fix that, he says?
That's priority one. I mean, that's like I said, I know from what I could hear the other night during the budget meetings that there were at least 2 positions that were going to be added, and they were several $15,000, $25,000, $10,000 increases to people's budgets. So they are, to me, they may be, once you get in there and get to looking at it, they may be room to add, especially the one in Jones Mill. That is the Tice one. It's a 5-mile rule, but the response times, you got Station 22 of Carrollton that's right at West Georgia, so that one is not as big of an emergency. They can get there to the Tice area quicker than they can the Jones Mill area down there at 166.
We heard a story this morning. I had a quote from Jeff Reese, Mayor Jeff Reese in Villa Rica.
Yeah.
And he has concerns about a current fire station that they have right now, that it just probably needs updated.
It does. Yeah. Terribly.
So you're well
yeah, it does. It's been needing updated. They got a ladder truck in there that you can't even, I mean, it's all it can do to fit in there. You can barely walk around it. So, and when that station was built, it was built for one man, because at the time, that's all the county had was one person in the fire station. So now you got 2 people on the engine and 3 people on the ladder, so you got 5 people crammed in that little building, and it's not a very pleasant work environment, I'm sure. So
as chairman, that would be in your sights.
Yeah, absolutely,
So
absolutely.
You know, Scott, who would ask the question about maintaining firefighters, he says in the last 5 years, and I can't verify this, but maybe it sounds right to you, over 120 firefighters have left the Carroll County Fire Department. Now, are those all people that were actually on the team and firefighters full time, or maybe some who started the training and didn't like it?
I wrote it down.
Yeah, so that's a pretty accurate number.
No, it's because when we get them trained, they're making, I think, $9.39 an hour in Carroll County, and they can go to Coweta, Douglas, or City of Carrollton and make a tremendous amount more money. Starting deputy makes 13 and some change an hour. I mean, every time you turn on the news, we had in Coweta County, a deputy was shot this week. So, for $13 an hour, are you willing to put your life on the line? Not me, Not me.
Well, sir, are you able to address that?
I think that's
how do you find that in the budget?
Like I said, public safety and retaining them is priority number one. That's if the board. It's going to be a board decision, but that's what I'm going to push for. $13 an hour. You can work at the filling station for for almost that much. I mean, why would you be the target of getting shot at for $13 an hour?
We've got about 5 minutes left in the program. Right now, you just if you were elected chairman next month, you'd be finishing out a year-and-a-half term,
That's
and then
right.
if you're interested to run again,
Right.
you pretty much start campaigning next year. What can you make happen in a year and a half? What would be your first goals? Obviously, you're talking about public safety. Any projects that you see are needed? Any ordinance changes?
I would definitely be on the look for land to build. Start with the administration building. I think that is something that if somebody comes to their chairman and wants to know about a zoning or wants to know what's going on in the fire department or with the tax commissioner or with whatever, we ought to be able to just get it and walk down the hall and go see them, not have to travel all over the county to go talk to different people. I think we all need to be under one roof. I think that's the best way. And public safety. I mean, we got to figure out a way to retain our guys. That's just it's costing the taxpayers money. We train them, get them trained, they leave. I mean, and you cannot blame them. It's not their fault. I mean, who wouldn't,
Carroll County Humane Society has been going after the Carroll County Board of Commissioners for about a year to change animal ordinance.
Yeah.
It has to do with tethering animals on stationary objects, not being able to leave them out frigid temperatures or when it's too warm. If you had a chance to look at that, and would that be a fair thing
that is something that I have not had, but I'm willing to sit down and talk with the guy, to them, and see if we can come up with it.
I've seen them presented. I mean, they presented their suggestion about 4 or 5 times. And I think at one time Artie Smith said, hey, let's let the cities look at this and see what they can do about it, because the majority of those infractions are probably happening in the cities because you get bigger land out in the rural areas. So, yes, I don't know where that goes, but they've talked to us several times about it too. So I know it's an important issue to them. We're going to have about 3 minutes left right now. Let's mention your meet and greet again. And
we're
how
going.
people
Like I
can
said,
get in touch
everybody's
with you.
more than welcome to come out tonight. It starts at 6:30 at the corner of Bethesda Church Road and Laurel Road, and we're gonna have some barbecue chicken.
I was going to say, you're going to feed us. Yeah.
We're gonna have some barbecue chicken, and hope we have enough people where we run out. I hope that's the problem we have tonight. And just be sure to vote. There's going to be, from the data we look at, it's going to be around 12 to 15,000 people at the most.
Only like 77, 80,000 registered voters in Carroll
Registered
County.
voters, so it's going to be a tremendous low turnout. But please get out and vote. And if you have any questions for me, Colin can I don't mind him putting my cell number on the comment section below. Feel free to give me a call, or I'm on Facebook. So hit me up on Facebook, or however you want to, or just come by the house. That's even better. So,
well, again, our thoughts with your family.
We appreciate it. And it's been mind blowing at the community support that's come out since then. I mean,
I've seen it.
It's overwhelming. Our church has been great. Our pastors, and I mean, it's been a eye-opening experience for me. And thank you to everybody that's called and asked about my family.
John, you have a website or a Facebook for your campaign?
I got a Facebook. I'm not sophisticated enough to do a website. So,
and it's just John Wilson,
like John Wilson
for chairman or something.
Yes.
You can Google that and find
That's
that
right.
on Facebook. Well, thanks for coming out this morning.
Thank you. Thank you for having
me.
me.
We got a lot of your questions answered for those of you watching and listening to us at home. Remember, tomorrow morning at 8:30, the final installment of our Carroll County Commission candidate series. It will be tomorrow morning on the Community Voice at 8:30. Michelle Morgan. I was going to say, she was scheduled to be our final guest, but I believe we're going to get to interview Donald Fagan. Donald Fagan was with Steely Dan. Daniel Fagan. He'll be on the Community Voice program hopefully next Friday. I'm pretty confident that he'll join us for that program, so you'll want to tune in for that. We'll promote it plenty. But as for now, if you missed any of this show, you can go back and watch it on the Facebook page or listen to it on the newstalk1330.com website. Have a great Thursday, and we'll catch you right here tomorrow morning at 8:30.